All right. You look like you're hiding at first. Christy's here. She's not. Hey, surprise coffee. So good. As we give people a minute to join us, how much are you loving all this rain in your neck of the woods?
It's not bad. It's
Yeah.
not great.
Yeah. I
It,
mean, I love that we needed rain. We needed the moisture. I love all the symbolism of rain that I choose to, like life and cleansing and all those things. But man, a little less at a time.
Please, can we space it out? Like that'd be great. Like,
Yeah. Like a rain day and then a Sunday and then a rain day and then a Sunday so that we can feel like our emotions balance along with it.
right? Or
Yeah.
my plants, they're not like to the ground and like all soggy and sad.
Yeah.
Like
Mine, I feel like they were going to blow away. Like I had to go take all my hanging baskets down because I'm like, they are going to blow across the yard. Hands down.
literally, literally.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
totally
So
agree.
crazy.
It is crazy.
Anyway, it'll be good. Well, I'm excited that I know you said before we went live that you've got a little bit of a head cold today. So that's always fun to have
Yeah.
conversation when your head's stuffed up, but appreciate you coming to hang out with us again on this Wednesday morning.
Yeah, no
Welcome to
worries.
Virtual Coffee Club, my friends. Christy Morgan is with us. If you haven't met, she's like a reoccurring character on the show now. If you haven't met her before, she's the Director of Indigenous Initiatives with the Trellis Society. And yeah, we're going to talk today about a few different things going on. One, I think, is the awareness around June being a National Indigenous History Month. And I think we're starting to see a lot more come out about different pieces of things this year and in the past couple of years than we have before. But it's just kind of cool to, I don't know, Christy, hear some of the stories and share in some of the historic culture.
Yeah. So, I mean, June is a big month for a lot of us in the community. It's a busy time.
Yeah.
Um, Calgary, we have our Aboriginal Awareness Week, which has been going on for decades. Um, and so, yeah, Monday's our kickoff. And so we're very excited.
Yeah. So what happens on Aboriginal Awareness Week? Like, what are some of the things that people can look forward to next week?
Yeah, so Monday we have our opening ceremonies that goes from 11:45 to 1:30 p.m. at Elbow River Camp at Calgary Stampede Grounds. That is a free event open to anybody and everybody. There's free burgers. We'll be showcasing some fantastic artisans. There'll be vendors selling some stuff. And it's just a time to kick off the week. So we kick off our, Indigenous Awareness Week here in Calgary of all the events happening. So it's just a proclamation. We have our sponsors come in. We have our Calgary Stampede Princess, Sika Benaki Lowhorn coming in to do some welcoming remarks, as well as some council members to do our proclamation. And it's just a great time for people just to come in and engage in some great learning and showcasing our culture.
I love it. The First Nations princess was just down visiting some residents in the High River Hospital last week, and she is just the sweetest thing. But I can never pronounce her name right, so I'm glad you got to say it today because I was like, I'm sorry. I'm like, that is a mouthful for me. But
Yeah,
she is
yeah.
such a beautiful soul, like such a great representative. And she's been busy. Like her season is crazy too. Yeah.
Yes, they're all very busy ladies that just go a mile a minute. Like I feel like I'm busy, but literally they go through thousands of events.
Yeah.
It gets insane. Yeah.
Now, I think that, I mean, if this awareness week has been happening in Calgary for decades, has June always been a historic month for Indigenous culture, or is that something that's relatively new? Because some people know about it and some people don't.
Yeah, that's true. So June is an important time, mostly given around solstice. So solstice is an important part within our community. Well, some of our communities, many of our communities around summer solstice. So that's a changing of our seasons. And so a lot of that is very typical from a lot of our traditional standpoints of, giving thanks. We have a lot of ceremonies around this time. A lot of things are starting to give, we're getting out of the springtime into the summer. And so it's this changing of the equinoxes. And so June 21st really is a special day for us for the summer solstice.
And is that why that day was chosen to be National Indigenous Peoples Day?
Yes, it was. It was through some consultation many years ago with many of our communities, and it was picked based on that day, being the summer solstice, to honor and acknowledge all the rich and diversity within our communities and our cultures as that special day, because we all know that that's one day that we all know that there is that changing over of many things in our communities. And so that was the reason why that day was picked.
Yeah. And it's different from, and I think because we start to, I think there's lots of days for all kinds of things now. So it's kind of hard to keep all of them straight.
It's
but
true.
There's Truth and Reconciliation Day, which I believe is in September, and then
Yes.
National Indigenous Peoples Day, which is June 21st, which is Tuesday next week. And
Yes.
those are completely different days. Like they have completely different meanings.
100% absolute. So different. So June 21st is more about the celebrating our rich culture and the diversity of it. And it's about that honoring and celebration piece. September 30th, Orange Shirt Day, is around the acknowledgement of those that went to residential schools, the loss, and those that are surviving from it. So very different days, very different meanings, and both just equally as important.
Yeah, absolutely. So opening ceremonies start Monday for Aboriginal Awareness Week, as you were saying. Is there a place where we can go and see is there like a calendar of events or different things? Because I know when we hear things like in a conversation like this, we're like, yeah, Monday. Okay, where did she say again? And what time was that? But I know there might be multiple things people would like to go and partake in this upcoming week.
Yeah, absolutely. So there is a couple places people can go. So you can go to aawc.ca is one website that has some of the pieces that are listed through that we'll talk about today. We have Honoring Mother Earth as well, is another one.com that outlines some pieces. So people can go to either one of those websites and get some more information about what's happening this week.
Okay, I'm just going to write these down so I can put them up on the screen. So AAWC.
Yeah, .ca.
Or Honoring Mother Earth.
.com.
And honoring like with the U?
Yes, please.
The Canadian version,
right?
Of
Canadian
however
version.
Everything is spelled. Yeah.
Yep,
so here's a couple of websites. So let's go through some of these like events that are coming up next week. Tell us about what's going on.
Yeah, 100%. So we have our opening ceremonies from, like I said, 11:30 to 1:30, or 11:45 to 1:30. And then right after that, we have our Indigitrails. That's being hosted with USAID, Urban Society for Aboriginal Youth. And that's up at Fort Calgary. So literally you can go from opening ceremonies, wander up a couple blocks, and jump in on the next event. That starts at 2:00 and goes till 5. It's an amazing, amazing event that USAID's done a phenomenal job in creating this walk-along path at Fort Calgary that is using virtual reality and augmented reality. And so you can scan different things and learn about different historical context pieces all through Calgary, around Fort Calgary area. So it's a really interactive walk for people to engage in. So that's happening for the 3 hours on that day. And then June 21st, we have a round dance happening. That's from 1 to 5 p.m. That starts at 1 to 2 is the barbecue. We have games and activities happening. The round dance goes from 3 to 5. That's at the Marlborough Community Association in Northeast Calgary. And that's being hosted by the Friendship Center here.
I love that. And what exactly is a round dance if people aren't familiar with that?
Oh, round dances are good times. Your
well, it sounds fun.
Your get sore because you're just dancing away. It's a social gathering for our community. So it's just a community gathering where we have some drummers who provide a bunch of songs, and we have everyone gets up and we dance in like a round circle.
Right.
And everybody's invited to participate in this. And you don't have to be like it's not like a super hard dance. You're just holding hands with the person beside you and you're moving along to the beat of the drum. And it's just a good time to just network and socialize, have fun, share laughs, and get, like I said, get a sore hip on one side because you're literally going to one side. Your leg just keeps going. Right? You got to get their hips going in there. Yeah.
Yeah. I love that.
Yeah. And then we have some of our hand game tournaments going on this year. So that's being done on June 25th is the finals, which is Saturday at the Stampede Grounds, which is going to coincide with our Family Day. So that's a corporate tournament. So people have to pay to register for that. So it's teams of 10 usually. People pay into that tournament and they play hand games. So if you've never seen hand games, you can always go witness it. What do you call it before you do like a final tournament, like your games, I guess, beforehand to get to your final people, the seeding games.
sporty reference. Yeah.
I'm like, I don't know.
Tournament?
The games that happen at the end.
Yeah.
Right. Something before the end. So go see those. Yeah, that's happening June 20th, 24th at Fort Calgary during the lunch hours. So you can go see that before they go to the finals. It's actually good fun. It's hand games are all about like trickery and hiding. So
okay.
It's a really cool thing to the beat of the drum. So people can see that, and it's big money in there. And then we have our last day of our Family Day on the 25th, 9 to 6 p.m. at Calgary Stampede at the South Park. So the old Stampede First Nations grounds at the south end. We'll be there. There'll be pancake breakfasts, hand game the finals there, powwow. So you see some competition going on. There'll be artisans, etc. So it'll be a great day for the families to come on out.
I love that. Candace says that she thinks the word we were looking for was round robin.
Yeah, thanks, man. Yeah, that's probably. I'm like, the stuff you play before the final. I don't know.
Yeah, the roundabout bit.
Yeah.
Thanks, Candace.
Yeah, I don't know. I clearly did not play sports. Yeah.
Now, I guess I'm going to ask because we're in the space of educating ourselves and through the piece. Now, is there anything as non-Indigenous people that were coming to partake in these events, is there anything that we should know about what we should or shouldn't wear? Or is there etiquettes that we should, I don't know, be aware of? Like, I realize you're creating this open environment that everybody's welcome, but sometimes we might feel a little bit nervous to step into something new with the culture because we're like, well, what if I wear something wrong or I say something wrong? And so then people will choose that as an option to maybe I'll go next time. Yeah,
absolutely. I would say the only thing I would recommend is if you're going to take pictures of any of the persons in their regalia, to ask first.
Yeah.
I mean, other than that, everything's welcome. We want people to come out, ask questions, have fun, participate, network, all of it. Come on, have fun.
Just learn about it. Like, I think if you think of any opportunity that you have to sort of step into it, submerge yourself into it, it's the best way to learn all about it is being a part of that.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, who doesn't like to go for free food and have fun, right? So
sounds amazing.
Yeah.
Sounds like you're going to have a really busy week, though. Are you taking vacation after that?
Not till the end of, most of us don't stop until the end of June, and then it kicks off the Stampede, which is pretty busy for most of us. So
sleep in August.
Yeah, pretty much. There's no sleep until the end. Absolutely. Yeah.
Awesome. I love that. Okay. So these two websites we have on the screen are places where you can go and connect in on all the events that are happening next week. And Christina also would really love you to share in the comments, whether you're with us live or you catch the replay of this, if you know of some events that are happening in your communities to celebrate your Indigenous community, wherever you are, because we know that this is being celebrated across Canada. And we'd love you to share different events that are happening in your area so that we can all see. You never know who's going to catch the video or check it out and might be in your neck of the woods over the next few days as we finish out the month. So please share that in the comments so we can see and support all of this Indigenous celebrations that are happening, because I'm sure there's tons, like everywhere.
I would love to see it. Yeah, I would love to see what's happening in your areas for sure.
Yeah, it would be really cool. Oh, I love that. It's going to be exciting.
I know, right? Busy week.
busy
Need to buy no groceries because you're getting free food everywhere you go. And out networking all day.
It's gonna be awesome. And then it's good you could get your cold out of the way now.
That's right. Beat it. Get out of here.
I got shit to do next week.
That's right.
Get out
I'm
of here.
busy. I'm busy. Move it. Yeah.
It's
true.
That's awesome. I love that. Well, I appreciate your time to connect with us this morning and tell us a little bit of, I mean, I think that's the thing is you say this events happened for decades in Calgary, and there's probably lots of people in the surrounding area that have no idea it's even gone on. And we know that we're getting people moving from other provinces into our neck of the woods all the time, especially during this crazy housing boom. So
Right?
there's brand new people. So let's bring them out and teach them about the Indigenous of our area, I think would be fantastic.
Absolutely.
Hey, I got a
100%.
question for you too. If people are, I'm always curious, and if people are planning events, for example, and they're wanting to incorporate, say, land acknowledgements and different things before their events and doing that piece, where do people connect in to get the right language, the right process, so they're doing it correctly and not just, I don't want to say people would do it flippantly, because I think if you're building that intention to do it, but is there a place where people can learn more about how they could start incorporating that into what they do?
Yeah, there's a few places people could visit too. So if you go to the Calgary Foundation's website and you type in land acknowledgement, they have done a couple land acknowledgements there that people can utilize and or watch
Mhm.
in terms of those pieces. And so they talk a little bit about those areas. And so they can they can go there and go to the Calgary Foundation and type in land acknowledgement as well. I can definitely send that in a private chat as well, or
Yeah. Well, I just think people, the more events, like now that we're kind of in a space where people are having more events, just, I think a gentle reminder that it is a beautiful thing to do to have a land acknowledgement before your event speaks. And I've noticed a lot that people are starting to include land acknowledgements on, say, their company's websites and different
yeah.
places too. So it'd be nice to see more and more of that being incorporated into what people are doing for their companies or whatever that looks like.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think it's about also understanding why land acknowledgements are important. So land acknowledgements aren't new. It was more of a kickoff as a result of the TRC being uh, put out to the community. It's
Yeah.
just a reclaiming of what was always done in our communities, right? So land acknowledgement, yes, was about verbal, but land acknowledgement and place and space of providing that respect to territories that we go into was always there. And you could always tell where someone was from based on like their language, what they're
Yeah.
wearing. But we would always give, we'd never, and we still never take away from where we are. Like, I know I'm a guest in Treaty 7. This is not my traditional territory. So
Mhm.
I'm going to ensure that I'm being respectful of how I handle myself in this area because it's not my place, right? And
Right.
so it's about providing homage to our Treaty 7 members that I'm there. And it's not about like it's about respecting, right?
Yeah.
Their protocols and their
Yeah.
areas, right?
Yeah. And I think it, to me, in my opinion, as a non-Indigenous person, is that it allows me to pay even more respect to the culture and the land and that piece as I move forward in the community too. So it's learning as much as we can about that, I think.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah. And I think too is, um, I don't know if this is meant to be said, but it's what's popped into my brain too, is just be truly genuine in why you're including that into what you're doing also. Like, don't,
100%.
I don't want people to just start saying land acknowledgements and putting them up on their websites because they think it's the right thing to do for to be visually acceptable of changes in society. I want people to take that moment and just be like, I am genuinely um, and intentional in why I want to give this acknowledgement and why I want to give this respect. And I
100%.
hope, please be that person in that process too. Like, that's why we're all learning together, right?
Yeah, 100%. I agree with that one. It's land acknowledgements are one piece of a way of doing that reciprocity and reconciliation. It's acknowledging our inherent kinship to the land. Um, but it's looking at our intent. So as an organization or as an agency or corporation or business, you have to really question, like, why are we doing this because everyone else is doing it? Or do we really understand why we're putting that in place? Right? How are we using that as one stepping stone to how we build in reconciliation into our actions throughout the organization and not just a statement?
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. And I think that it gives it gives you an opportunity, as you know, if you're doing it from a organization's perspective or a business perspective, that you can then have an opportunity to educate your staff in that process and bringing them on board with your inclusivity and your diversity and all of those different other catchphrases that we have in making better environment for humans.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, one of the things too I wanted to encourage people is that I started it this month. It's been on my mind and my heart for quite some time to do, but I just thought in the month of June, because it's the most busiest month, why not add something else? But symbolically in this month is I just started the Indigenous Canada course that is being put on by, I think it's U of A.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I've done the first module and I got 100%. I'm pretty excited. I'm like, woo! But it's so fast. Like I learned so much in that, like 1 hour that I spent doing that. And it's set up to be sort of laid out over 12 weeks is how they do it. But if you have bigger chunks of time, like it's really a do at your own pace kind of course. But what I learned in that 1 hour was phenomenal.
Yeah.
Like it just allows you to dive into some more knowledge to just equip yourself with better understanding. And I've really, really enjoyed it so far.
Oh, good. Yeah. It is a great course. Yeah.
But then I've always loved I'm a person who I loves hearing the stories of different cultures. And so even in that first module, pardon me, you learn about the Sky Woman story and all of those pieces. And like, it's just like, oh, and I think culturally how you've used story to educate and teach and pass along information as opposed to, I don't know, math equations. Like it's a bad example, I realize, but it's fascinating. Anyway, so I would encourage anyone, if you want to learn more and you want to increase your knowledge, is to sign up for that Indigenous Canada course. Yeah. And there's a free version and there's a certificate paid version. Like, so it's also available for free if you want.
Yeah. Yeah. It's a great one. It really is.
Yeah.
You've done a phenomenal job.
Yeah. And I can only imagine, like, I can only being one in, but I can imagine after 12 weeks, like it would have, the biggest challenge, I think, would have been, how do we how do you choose which knowledge to share? Because there's so much. Like there's even in that one, they said there's several versions of the Sky Woman story, depending on different nation. And so I was like, oh my gosh, how did they pick? They must have just been like, well, here's a sliver of information. We'll start there. Yeah.
Right. But I think that speaks back to, again, the diversity within our communities, right? When we talk about like, we're not pan-Indigenous, like not everything's like singular. There is that wide variety of conversation, even like within our own territory here at Treaty 7. There's lots of, there's stories, but they're from different community contexts, right? And so, it just speaks to that rich diversity that we have.
Yeah. Darlene says she took it and it was excellent. Yeah.
Nice one, Darlene.
Thanks, yeah. She also, I'll let people go check in the comments. She attended an event earlier this month and she put the YouTube link for it. So an opportunity for you to check out another event there. So keep sharing in the comments if you know of other events to celebrate National Indigenous History Month, Aboriginal Awareness Week, National Indigenous Peoples Day, whatever's happening in your community. We'd love to share all that info in the comments. And Christy, just want to thank you again for coming out and hanging out and giving us some information. And who knows, maybe we'll have a little round dance together next week.
That's right. Maybe we'll see at the round dance or opening ceremonies. I'll be running around like an idiot. So see a blur of me running around.
Like, I know her.
Yeah. As I'm running around like an idiot, just trying to get things done. Yeah, it's fair.
It's good. I'll bring you some water.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Maybe Powerade, maybe like water with vitamins or something.
Yeah, keep me going here. Yeah, it'd be great.
It's good. It's awesome. Well, thank you again for connecting with us today and sharing more information. Go check out these two websites. And if you're in the Calgary area, check out some of these events next week. They sound really fun. And as we said, if there's events wherever you're catching this from, please post them in the comments so everybody can share. And have an amazing rest of your day. Here's cheers to the wind going away and the sun coming out. So
right. Cheers.
There we go. Have a great day, everybody.